Here we have a wonderful topic. We were going to have Heather here too, but she's got other things going on, so we're going to pick her up next time. But Erik wants to talk about how to love oneself, and that is probably the biggest spirit. One of that forgiveness and self-love have got to be two of the big ones, spiritual contract wise, that we humans are here to learn. But I don't want to hear any more of my voice. Y'all, come on, take it over.
Erik says, "Hi, Mom."
Hi, lovely.
Mama, mommy, mama,
Mama. Yeah.
Mama.
Great boy.
All right. So the topic he wanted to bring up is specifically about, loving yourself. He's made me listen to that Justin Bieber song, Love Yourself, like over and over again.
Oh,
and I think it's because he's okay, so he's bringing up the fact right now that he says, I have lots of cryy girls right now. And he's not even meaning that in like trying to be rude to you. And he's saying that it's more that he is trying to show his support. Yeah. And he can be positive and give you good vibrations all you want. He says, but now, he says, Professor Erik is going to talk about loving yourself today and how to get down to the true essence and the true core of who you are. He says, because after all, that's really what it's all about. He says, the most dysfunctional part of relationships is the fact that you really don't love yourself.
Yeah, that is the foundation to a good relationship. By the way, I did the eyesight service on me. I swear to God, I think my vision is worse with my glasses on. Ooh, goody. So we'll see what my ophthalmologist says when I get my eye check. What's going on, man? Well, I got something to go put you out of business, dude. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. He says, just like Mom, always interrupting. Right. He's looking at you, goes, you done yet? You done yet, Mom? You done yet?
Yeah, for now.
He goes, okay, now. He says, let's get back to the true essence of who you are. And how do you do that? He says, pillow talk, guys. He's using pillow talk as an analogy. Oh. He says, just like as if you were in a relationship with a couple and you goo goo and you gaga in each other's eyes, and you give yourself that, you give the other partner that real love and feeling, he says, by saying what's cute about them and what's good about them. He says, that's what you really need to do. He says, number one, give yourself some real pillow talk. He says, many of you girls are really, really good at it for us guys, but you're not so good at it for yourselves. Mm-hmm. He says, it's harder to look in the mirror and say the positive things versus always being so self-critical. Yeah. And I'm kind of lecturing him right now, like, well, yeah, women are like that.
Yeah, we're raised to take care of others.
Yeah. He says he's bringing up those Dove commercials that are out right now and how really good they are about self-empowering females and their bodies, and really bringing it to light, the fact that all body types are beautiful. He says, I don't need to tell you that. He's actually bringing up that he liked curvier women anyway.
That's true.
And blonde.
Yeah.
And I'm telling him it's not really about him right now.
Yeah, really, come on. Who's about it now? Actually, he liked dark-haired women too. In fact,
he's saying, no, I'm just kidding. He says, really, it's about somebody that has personality. He says, and you all have personality. It's just a matter of finding somebody with that personality that fits you. Now, it's important to make sure that it's somebody that you can grow with and that you can always find ways to communicate with. Even if they're not great at communication themselves, he says, or you're not good at it yourself, that's what I'm talking about about finding your true essence. He goes, example, Abby essence.
Abby essence.
I had a hard time communicating in my relationship when it first started because I was in a really abusive relationship before I met my son's father. Yeah. So, or when I was with my son's father. So the point is that going into a new relationship, and he wants me to bring this up because it's important for people to know that you can relearn out of self-love. And the way you do that is by getting down to the core root of why those behaviors aren't changing in general. He says, which brings me to Professor Erik number 2. Not only you got the pillow talk, but you got to do the education. He says you got to take the time to learn the profane reasons of why you have all these crazies, he's calling it,
Oh, God.
with your girldom.
Oh.
He says he's kind of just laughing when he says crazy. He's not trying to call people crazy, but he's not, just kidding. He is trying to call people crazy. My bad.
Oh, God. Well, we're talking about, is it all women we're talking about today? Or are there, we're going to address guys?
Well, he started out this session bringing up the fact that there's been a lot of cryy girls. That's what he said. And he wasn't even trying to be rude. I think it's more that there's been a lot of females on the blog and just on the YouTubes in general that have been going through guy issues that have been trying to communicate with him. He says they ask me all kinds of outlandish, crazy things. He's got his real Texas accent today, by the way.
Yeah.
He says they ask me, are they gonna call me? Do they really like me? Give me a sign. Should I call them? And he's showing me like a daisy and like ripping the petals off the daisies.
Me not.
And he says they want phone numbers, they want dates and times. He says, I could give you a million like clues that this person is or isn't for you. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because you're just going to do what you want to do anyway. Let's face it. He says it's really about self-love. He just wants to see y'all love each other more.
Yeah, but what is the root cause of self-loathing? Well, we'll go one with women because that's what we're talking about now. Is it the way they were raised? Is it, I don't know.
He says there's a lot of subliminal factors that come into play here, Ma. He says, well, we got the good old PTSD from life experience. And then we got the good old PTSD from past life experience.
Yeah, I was wondering.
And then you got traumas from other previous life experience. And then you got multi-dimensional issues that are happening at the same time that make you all even more hormonal and crazy than you even realize.
Well, what do you mean dimensional stuff?
So at the same time, we're living lives in multiple dimensions, Mom.
Okay.
And we're going through a bunch of stuff at the same time. Some of those things coincide with each other. And some of them are happening at the same time, which reflects on how we react in certain situations, in certain high emotional situations. And then he's also bringing up the astrological signs. Like my fiance and I am a Leo, he's a Libra, like how they interact. That can really affect things. The moon, the stars, how they align, the energies of the planet. And then you got all the energies of the earth. So it's more than just one factor that accumulates into a multitude of issues, Mom. He says it's really about, it's really about just finding the right alignment with the right person. It's a lot to do with also life contracts, like beforehand, because that whole saying, a reason, a season, a lifetime. Some people are just brought into our lives for a reason, some of them a season, and some of them a lifetime.
Yeah.
And it isn't until you experience that lifetime that you're able to figure out which one it is. And sometimes he's shown me like blowing a candle out or blowing the flowers off a petal. I appreciate the analogy, but I'm asking him to talk instead of using visuals. He says sometimes you just gotta let it go. He says sometimes you gotta kiss him goodbye. He says sometimes you gotta dust off your boots and walk away. And sometimes it's meant to be that way.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a lesson, it was learned by both parties, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand the past life component because women especially were not revered or respected very much in other generations. So I can see that having some bleed through of self-loathing in current lives.
The unfinished business thing also comes up as well.
Wait,
Oh, hi,
quick,
Bella.
quick. She's ready for a close up. She got her nails done. I didn't know she was
Ooh,
gonna done. Bella got
pretty
her hair
puppy.
cut. All right, go back to sleep.
I wish I had my buns in here. I'd pick them up too.
Oh,
I have a bunny, a house bunny.
I know, I know.
I'm sorry. Let's get back on track.
So,
Erik?
I wanted to be
I'm
sneaky.
just as ADD as he is, so I'm like squirrel.
So all three of us, Jesus. So okay, so the past generations not respecting women, there's some bleed through there, obviously.
Mhm.
All right, so
Yeah.
what do we do beside pillow talk? I mean, can you give us some real would past life regression sometimes can help, right?
A lot of the work you can do yourself. He
Yeah.
says, let's go the cheapest way we can. He says, let's go down to the nitty gritty. Finding that quiet time and that quiet space. It's not always so bad to be alone and be quiet. He says, not all y'all can be quiet for long. He says, but try it once in a while.
Yeah.
He says, because actually you can find a lot of inner peace by quiet.
Yes.
So sometimes it really is better taking your time and your space from your friends and taking your time and your space from the situations and the groups and the friends around you. He says, it's not always so good that they influence you. It's not always so good to hear everybody's advice, because you got to get back again, he says, to the true essence, the true core of who you are and where your baseline is, where he says, I'm not even talking about the baseline of where it went before it all went wrong.
Yeah.
He says it's the value at which you came into this life with that all knowing that this is what I'm supposed to be and this is how I'm supposed to do it, and accepting the acceptance that things are going to come and people are going to go, and at the end of the day it's all just going to wash away anyway, and we're all going to end up in the same place.
Yeah.
Finding your faith, finding your spirituality, finding your core, who you really are, the things that you make you the most happy.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can happen that you don't even realize can make you happy, because you got to give it a chance. He says, stop being so dang judgy.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, you're all fucked up sometimes how judgy you can be, but you yell at us for being judgy. You're judgy.
But really, sometimes there are cases where we let others define us instead of us really owning our own truth and being our own sovereign being and saying, this is the real me, man. It's not what you say I am or what you think I should be, siblings or
well,
parents.
he's kind of stopping you there, saying that it's part of your life plan sometimes to have these really terrible experiences, so that way, that's why you come to earth, is so that way you can experience the white light and the dark, so you can feel that interaction between good and bad. That's why we come here, is so that way we can experience that real ulterior lifestyle that you don't get in heaven.
I know, but we're still talking about self-love. We got to find a way to help teach people how to find self-love.
He says that you're all doing it, first off, by just sitting here and taking the time and listening to good old me.
Good old me.
He says that
we really have to set our emotional, our boundaries. People can really rob a lot from, especially us women. We just give our emotional resources away. Plus, being emotionally honest, and you taught me this, Erik, with others and with oneself.
He said, that's the problem. You're all giving yourselves away. He says, stop doing that. Stop doing that right now. He says, stop giving yourselves away. Stop giving your time, especially your money. Stop giving the thought process of change, because it's not going to happen. Yeah. He says, these people are who they are for a reason, because they came into this life for a challenge and their own destination. You need to just do your job. And when it's over, grieve it. feel it, because a beautiful lesson comes from that.
Yeah.
It's gonna help you move on.
Yeah.
It's just gonna help you grow. It's just gonna help you take that step, and you're gonna cry. He says you're gonna sulk. Man, sometimes it's gonna be a good old bucket of tears.
Oh God.
He's like he's saying, I've been through that. He's bringing up an incident about a girl that he was really into, and a friend of his, like, actually, I don't know if he actually ever verbally told the girl. She wasn't stupid though. She knew that he had a thing, but you know, she started really spending time and seeing the friend, and it hurt.
Oh.
He says, but there's lessons that come from that. There's things that come from that really help you. And that is what's going to help you. That if you can stop trying to change people, because people aren't going to change.
Right.
He says, tigers don't change their stripes, baby.
True. They're not meant to.
No. He says, yeah, there's lessons that people can learn over time. And he's bringing up cheating. He's bringing up cheating and the fact that, you know, no, it's not always over when it's over. Sometimes there can be some really like big lessons that can come from, you know, cheating in a relationship, that maybe the guy will never do it again. He says, but it's rare. He's emphasizing.
Oh boy.
But it's rare.
Oh God. Well,
he says, I'm pissing off a lot of people.
I dump him or not? Yeah, no. So is there more weepy cry women out there in the collective, or at least in the Atlanta Scalers Channeling Erik collective now than there used to be, you think? Is anything changing? Or are they just talking about it more? I mean, I don't know. We got to put words in your mouth.
He says you can influence things in the scalar field, absolutely, but it's really at the end of the day, do you want a bunch of zombies walking around just doing what you kind of put into their heads?
I'm saying the people who are fans of those two, the people who are Atlanta Scalar peeps and the people who are Channeling Erik peeps, they're the ones you have the most contact with, I guess. So are they more weepy? Are there more weepy ones than there used to be? Are things changing? Maybe because of the age of Aquarius? I don't know.
So it's just like he's showing this chain reaction coming out from a small group, right? And then it grew and grew and grew and grew. So it's a chain reaction, because even if somebody isn't actually a Channeling Erik like blog member, or if they haven't been following the whole thing, it doesn't matter like how I treat somebody because of something I learned is going to help somebody else, and they may or may not learn, but lots of times, sometimes they do learn, you know, from how I treat somebody. And maybe I learned that from, you know, things that Erik has brought forward that I never thought about before, or my other guides, you know, or hammered into my head. And so because of that, it's like a chain reaction. So because of that, the community has grown leaps and bounds. He's saying, especially over the last like 3 years or so. He says, especially right now, he says there's been some real things that have been triggered by lots of topics that we've discussed, you know, on these YouTubes, like things that really are pretty emotional, people, like politics, and gender, race, and he's bringing up like alien races, religion, just even like different mediums that we've had on here. He says it's just a very triggering thing, because it's affected more people because it's been deeper discussions and deeper topics, and there's been more topics. So yes and no. Yes, there's more weepy girls. He says, no, there's not more, because, I mean, come on. What girl hasn't ever cried over me once or twice?
Oh, that's funny.
He's got an ego, huh?
Oh, no, it's all fake.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he knows he's badass. Okay, so,
he doesn't.
So any more advice on those who do, and guys too, for the people who have?
Yes, he's saying guys too.
Yeah, what?
He's saying guys too. He says he's saying to the guys specifically, don't kill yourself over there. Yeah. If she doesn't want you, she doesn't want you, man. Just let it go. It's okay. You'll find somebody else, and if you don't, fuck them.
Yeah, that's their loss.
He says find something you really like: hunting, fishing. He's bringing up how much he likes guns.
So give me some steps, practical a list of practical things, Eric, for people who have
Well,
struggled with
like he
finding love.
started, he's saying like, I started at the beginning, Ma. You got the pillow talk.
Yeah, which
You
means
got the
go
building
into
your
that
own
more.
pride.
Wait, go into that more. The pillow talk. Just
The
try to
pillow talk
find.
is like, he's showing me an image of like this really googly girl, like, oh, you know, looking at her boyfriend, like, you're so cute. You need to do that to yourself more. You
Okay,
need to really give yourself a break. You
got
need
it.
to give yourself some like actual verbal out loud self-love. He goes, do that dang post-it thing that they talk about where they stick the post-its. Yeah, I don't care. He says, you know, scream, holler your favorite songs. It's about bringing your vibration up.
Oh yeah.
Really, your energy, like listening to
Yeah.
your favorite songs and prancing around your underwear in your house by yourself.
Hopefully.
Me, I don't care. I
Get
just
too many
prance around
people
my
out.
underwear. Nobody cares. They all know me.
Me too here. All right, so what else? What else? That's number one.
Okay. And then we got, he says, letting the ego go. You got to let it fly sometimes. A lot of why you have this self retention, this place that you want to be at with feeling so hurt and feeling so sad when relationships don't work out, or just having a hard time in general, feeling like you're worthy, is because of your own ego. He says that's a deeper density. You need to get out of that place. You need to get away from those feelings. He's saying, he's giving you an example, saying that music did it for me. Seeing yourself with self-progression, he's giving an example again about, he's showing me him strumming a guitar, and about how he tripped over the chords, and like how it took him a while. It wasn't like he just picked it up and went with it. He says sometimes it takes you a while to strum it away and see how it goes, and then you really start developing your own techniques. And which brings him to the third subject, which is finding your own techniques and finding your own things that work for you. It's part of self-development and finding your own ways to be, because he says you got your own thumbprint. You are who you are. He says meditation may work for her, but it may not work for you, man. He says just stay away from the drugs and shit. Except pot. He's bringing up pot's good.
Oh,
You say.
I knew that was going to come up. All right, so what are some of the things? Meditation. I mean, obviously, we're not
grounding, putting your feet, taking your shoes off, putting your feet on the ground. He says sometimes you just got to go for a drive to absolutely nowhere. He says, again, being alone, listening to nothing, not listening to your friends, not listening to your family, sometimes just being in a moment of real self-reflection. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody thinks they need to come around you and support you, and they all want the latest gossip. He says part of it's actually their ego that needs to get fed, because it's a natural human. It's kind of sucky. He says it's a natural human instinct for people to feed off of each other's trials. And he's explaining to me that it's not always such a bad thing, because we can learn from each other. We can learn from each other, and we don't want to see each other get hurt.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's about your own destiny and your own destination and finding your own path. Yeah. He says, seeking your own value by finding your own ways and seeking your own ways to do that. So if you like to, he's bringing up something really cool right now. He says, find things you like to do. You like to collect sea glass? Collect sea glass.
That's a really good, what is sea glass? Is that the one where lightning hits the sand and makes some glass?
So it's like bottles or any kind of glass that goes in the ocean, and over time it like rolls the glass and gets all like soft or not soft, but smooth, and it makes really nice, neat, beautiful colors.
Talking about God.
What was that?
Yeah, I mean, find a hobby. I think that's great, and
yeah, he says he's showing me that one step goes into two steps, which goes into more steps, and eventually you go from walking to crawling. So get up in the morning and make your bed. As simple as that sounds, get at least one thing
made right now. I'm just gonna get my bed. My husband.
He says, put those dirty, smelly socks in the hamper.
Right.
Take your showers. He's bringing up about the water, about how it's the water going over you is very neutralizing for your energy. It's not only good for like your body and its cells and to be fresh, but it does a lot for your energy. And it's kind of like baptism.
Yeah.
You know how it like refreshes your soul. It's like baptism. It's
Okay.
like start a new day, take a shower.
Yeah.
He says have things around you that smell good. He says there's a lot with scentology that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
Not just about getting sandalwood or, you know, frankincense or, you know, things like that. He says whatever, get whatever smell you like. He says you like Drakkar, go get Drakkar. He
Yeah.
must be talking to a guy right now because I'm pretty sure that's a man cologne. But
Yeah, I
anyways,
think it is. Yeah. So
he says open your shades, don't make it so dark.
yeah. What about
Stop
the colors
withdrawing like
around
that.
you? I mean, you know, you sleep on sheets that are different colors, and you spend a lot of time in that color when you sleep. So, are there certain colors we should, or is it just, you know, one size does not fit all? That
So he's saying most importantly, wash your sheets, and he doesn't even mean that to be snarky.
okay. Yeah.
He means that because of
yours.
it's the natural, he says, expulsion of energy coming off of you.
Oh, okay.
Also needs to be refreshed. Wash your sheets. He says, I don't care if it's daily for a little while.
Forget that. Okay, so what color?
Clean your car.
What about colors?
Colors. He says that keep it light for a little while when you're going through those moments of just depths of depression, breakout. He says keep it light, the colors. He says you want to always keep it fresh during those times. So eat leafy greens.
Oh yeah.
Stick to smaller amounts of protein.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's so hard to do. Are you kidding me? I'm like sitting there with a gallon of ice cream, like nom.
Oh wow, that sounds good. I'm so hungry. Today. Oh,
that's why I gained 75 pounds and then had to lose it all.
Oh my God. Okay, so but color though, is yellow a happy color? Is that, would you sleep in
He
that?
says that yellow is an intense color. So he keep it more to like, are we talking sheets or are we talking just?
Because we spend so much time in bed.
He's showing me like light mauve, like a light blue, like almost like a pale baby blue.
Oh, like what do you call it?
Like a creamy off-white.
Okay.
And he's showing like even little like images that just make you happy.
Okay.
If you like Spider-Man, get Spider-Man sheets, whatever. You don't even need. He goes, that's not even the topic. He says, it's not about the sheets. It's about the vibration that you're setting off. And it's about your intention of starting every day. You got to get into your head that no matter what you're going through, you're going to wake up the next morning and put your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
You have to remember that. And then from there, you got to go to the next step. Okay, I put my feet on the ground, 12 steps to this bathroom. Whatever, man. He says, if you have to count your steps every step of the way, fucking do it. Count your steps to the bathroom, get in the shower, turn on the water. Okay, get in the water, get in the shower. Okay, now I'm out of the shower. Brush my teeth. He says, I don't care if it's that way and as retarded as it sounds. He says, it'll fucking work. And then eventually, he says, day 7, day 12, you'll stop counting those steps. They won't mean so much to have to count those steps.
Yeah.
He says, you'll start to see value in it. You'll start to feel better. Trust me. He says, but just remember, he does care and he is listening and he is there for all the blog members and more so. You don't have to be a Channel Erik member or even just watch the YouTubes. It's like everybody affects everybody and he's listening. And it just, he could sit there and wave a flag in your face saying like, this dude's no good, don't be with him. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like you're still going to want to do what you want to do anyway. He can't make somebody call you because they have their free will. He wants to let you know that. But he will support whatever's divinely led to you.
Yeah.
He says, and things can change. Things can change. Sometimes like he isn't so sure himself if somebody's great for you in a relationship when you first get involved and he's not so sure, but then things that, because that person has free will too. So he finds ways that he can't help and support it. And he will. He's never going to break anybody up.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's never going to do something like that. He says, sometimes I want to scare the shit out of these dudes and ladies that are being all abusive and fuck.
Oh my God.
He goes, but I can't do that. They won't let me.
No, I don't think they would. So really, sometimes girls pick bad, toxic guys, because of a lack of self-love, right?
100%, mama. You hit the nail on the head. And it goes for guys too.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really about what you think. It's like,
Pick what you think you deserve. It's almost like that.
He says, one up yourself. So for what you think you deserve, pick one up better.
Okay.
And we're not just talking looks. We're talking in general, big picture. Yes. Whatever you think you deserve, pick one up better. And he says, and I'll tell you, that works like a charm every time. He says, go for not just the hottest guy in the room. He goes, because that doesn't always work. He says, as in they're not actually like a good person too.
Yeah, right.
Or the hottest girl in the room. Yes. He says, you know, go for write a list. He's showing me a list right now of like 100 things or whatever, of everything that you want. He says, put it in a box, right? This really pretty box, or for a dude, some wood box that you carve or create or whatever, and put some rose petals in there, or freaking airsoft BBs. I don't care. He says.
Oh my God, it's funny.
And he says, kiss the damn letter and stick it in there and leave it in there. He says, that's creating something. Thoughts create, thoughts manifest. He says, I can guarantee you, you're going to go back and you're going to read it. You're not going to just toss it. He says, even if you don't get it in the first 3 months, it doesn't matter. You'll go back and reread it. And then that propels. So you got to start that propelling of how to get that right person, how to get that place. And it really, though, Jesus, it doesn't really always happen unless he goes, listen to my mom. He says, it doesn't always happen unless you're in a really, okay, Eric, and he's going really fast right now, so I'm trying to slow him down a little bit. And he says, unless you're like, it'll just kind of blindside you. You won't even be looking for it. Was that advice he used to give or something? Okay. So he's saying, like, don't listen to my mama. You're not even going to look for it. It's just going to hit you upside the head one day. You don't need to look for it. You're just going to meet the perfect person for you. And that's how you know.
Exactly. I also think one thing that helps people who lack self-love is service to others. I mean, not everybody's meant to do that. But you know, sometimes maybe they are meant to do service for others and for some reason have not, and that's subliminally causing. But anyways, but serving others, even if it's just smiling at the guy who gives you your hamburger at McDonald's through the window and saying, how are you? Things like that.
He's saying it's not about being a pushover. So get that out of your head. And he is going ding, ding, 100%.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to mean, oh, I'm going to volunteer for the Red Cross for 10 hours a week. No, I mean, it could be just being kind, random acts of kindness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
He says it's about being genuine.
Genuine.
He says if you're genuinely a bitch, then genuinely be a bitch. He says, and you know what? You're going to meet the right person as long as it's genuinely who you are.
Yes. Oh, wow.
You're going to meet the right person for you.
That's exactly right.
Like the right person for you may not be the right person for me. And that's what makes it such a beautiful thing of finding that right person. Just, it doesn't matter who you are, or even, obviously be kind and all. He goes, he's giving me a stupid example. He goes, I don't want you walking around kicking dogs thinking that's okay, because it's not.
Yes.
He says, but it's really just about keeping your essence. Like Erik tells me my Abby essence.
I love that.
Keep the essence of who you are.
Yeah.
Your childlike charm is what he's calling it. Your most innocent you. That is the most attractive quality. And there's actually a smell that emanates, not like a bad smell. It's a very attractive, a perfume. I don't know, you're a doctor, you know these words. Perfume odor, like.
Yeah, a pheromone.
A pheromone.
Oh, okay.
It sends out a pheromone. Yeah. It's like it triggers something in your brain when you align like that.
Smells.
Yeah, when you align like that, it triggers a pheromone, and that helps you attract. Oh wow, that's really cool.
That's really interesting.
I love doing these sessions. I learned so much.
That's cool. So
yeah, it attracts the pheromone.
Innocence, letting your inner child, whatever, letting your true, what you were born into this world as, that essence come through,
Yeah.
you'll get a pheromone, really?
Yeah.
That's so
It triggers something in your brain, right?
pedophiles.
Like,
Just kidding. Pedophiles. Uh-oh. Just kidding.
That's creepy.
I don't know why I said that. I'm chilling you.
Goes, oh, my mom's so weird. Just don't mind her.
I know.
He goes, she's always trying to be cool.
I just things come out that are like, what? What did you say that for, Lisa? But it's okay. That is me, my authentic self. I can't help it. So, anything else you want to share before we close, Erik?
He says, "Mwah, I love you all. Don't stop talking to me just because I'm giving you some." He's saying like upper vibrational like love. He just wants y'all to know he loves you, and he's listening and he's there, and he can't make things happen. He just wants y'all to be happy. He says he wants you all to take care, and he wants you all to stop crying all the time.
Oh, you don't want crying?
No. He says he feels, like I said, his Texas accent today is like cute. He's like, I don't want you to feel so dang bad, because it makes him feel bad. Like he feels bad when you're crying. And he can't fix it for you. All he can do is be there for you. And he's not going to change the outcome for you, because it could be a lesson that you need.
Right. All right. And we can get in touch with Abby Essence at
brightsidemedium.com.
brightsidemedium.com. I was going to almost give Heather's. All right. Well, anyway, brightsidemedium.com. And thank you so much, Erik. Thank you, Abby. Thank you all.
Thank you. He goes, bye, Mama. Remember, I love you all.
I'm going to go grab a box of tissues now. I'm going to probably get a quart of ice cream. Yummy. All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.